What's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing another Walking Dead video leading up to the 13th episode for The Walking Dead Season 10. And this one, we'll be starting by giving our thoughts on Carol's vengeance. Alright, so I definitely want to do a video for you guys today because we have a new episode just coming up soon for people who have Premiere. They're going to be able to watch it tonight on AMC. I'll be doing the usual stuff Sunday nights, so that's all going to continue through as per usual. And we did get news that they're going to be doing Talking Dead this weekend, so just a heads up for that for you guys. Dead Tree mentioned it March 22nd, so that's, Sunday. There will be a new episode of Talking Dead after Walking Dead finishes airing, so... So that's good. And, a lot of people were, probably going to be happy to hear that because they were kind of saddened that they didn't do it last weekend. Now, I don't know if they're going to be doing it with, from, maybe from distance, do some kind of online thing or something like that. I don't know if they're going to do maybe like an empty studio or something like that. Some of the different wrestling shows and programs, which usually have a live studio audience or a live arena audience, have been continuing to do their shows like WWE and AEW and whatnot, except they've been doing them with empty arenas, which is really weird. So you have like the same show, but there's no audience. So that'll be kind of interesting to see how that works on Talking Dead if they do an episode of Talking Dead and there's no audience. Might be a little bit different, a little bit strange, but maybe it's okay because I don't know if you necessarily need to have the audience there for something like that. It's not exactly the same as like a wrestling event where you got everybody who's into it and they're all chanting and screaming, so that. Talking Dead, they do a little bit of that, but not too much. So we'll see what that looks like this weekend. I'm just intrigued to see what they actually do, considering the world situation right now. Which again, we'll have to get into a bit more. Some of these questions that are coming up, you just can't avoid it right now. It's everywhere. I kind of wanted to stop talking about it, but it's like, well. Good luck with that, man, because that's like half of what everyone's talking about right now. Everything else they're into, even hobbies and whatnot, is the other half. So, so we'll get into a few of those, but happy that Talking Dead is going to be back on this weekend. And I wanted to apologize to you guys for Wednesday. I didn't get around to doing the live stream. Basically, I had a decision to make on Wednesday. It was either go visit my parents, who I haven't seen for a while. I only get to visit them maybe once every few months or something like that, or at most once a month, because I'm working on the channel every day and then doing my job and then the usual stuff. So I had a choice whether I do the live stream or I go visit mom and dad. So sorry, guys, but mom and dad won this one out. I just had to go make sure, they're in their 70s, so I had to make sure they're okay and stuff. You got to do it, right? So sorry, guys, but we'll do another live stream this weekend, Sunday night after the usual episode. Maybe next week we'll do another one on Wednesday if you guys want to do that, because they are a lot of fun. I love doing them with you guys, but I just sorry, dudes, you can understand, right? So how do we all feel about Carol finally getting her vengeance on Alpha? So we didn't really expand on this a whole lot, but it is kind of a big event in the Walking Dead television series because the way things kind of started off at the beginning of the season, what you had happen last year with the Pikes, and the big reveal that Henry was one of the victims, which was really shocking to all of us because I think we all kind of assumed that Henry was going to be the Carl 2.0 of the series. I mean, it just seemed like a no-brainer, and they ended up swerving us on that one too, so that was kind of an unpredictable moment to see that. And the Art of Death, is that what someone corrected me, Art of Death, I guess, is what the initials spell out for the Pikes, with Henry would be the H, and there was, Tara, and when you go backwards as you want to go for the Enid in there somewhere, the others in there too, there's Tammy in there too, right? So, you can kind of go back and take a look through, but so from it being set up at that time, she kills Henry and everything, puts the head in the pike, that whole thing. Carol becomes consumed by the idea of vengeance, and they lose the kingdom, and she can't let it go. So we go into this year, and you start the season off with that great kind of face-to-face kind of, face-off type of thing between Alpha and Carol, and kind of looking down at each other. You have it continuing on with Carol trying to shoot Alpha, and Michonne stopping her, and then Alpha kind of trolling Carol and continuing to do so with the cave and everything like that. So finally, as we see the whole thing kind of unfold, finally now at the end, Carol has gotten her vengeance on Alpha due to sending out Negan. So I kind of like the way this worked out. When Carol left after the meeting at the near the border, near the beginning of the season, Alpha sent some of her whispers after Carol. So, and you guys remember in Ghosts when we thought that they were figments of her imagination, and they turned out to actually be, it actually turned out to be real, and that was kind of the twist. At the end of the episode, you see a Whisper that's been, was it shot, I believe, and was dead. So it showed that it wasn't a dream, and that Carol actually was being stalked by by the Whispers that Alpha had presumably sent after her. So then Carol returned the favor by freeing Negan and sending him after Alpha, which is kind of cool, right? So it's like a tit for tat. And don't take that out of context. Old ladies, right? But the channel lately has been getting a little bit too overboard with the sexuality stuff. But I'll try to bring it back, right? The live streams, man, this is getting kind of crazy. This is in my head a lot. Wrong context for that one. But okay, so Carol finally gets her vengeance. She was able to fight off the Whispers that were sent after her, but Alpha, being in bed with the one that was sent after her, wasn't able to see that Negan was going in for Carol in some kind of agreement, some kind of thing. In the first time we've ever seen the two do a scene together, it's revealed in last week's episode 12, that Carol sent Negan in, right? So it was pretty sweet when you think of it that way. Now, it's weird for me because, like I said in my review, I didn't really enjoy Carol getting her vengeance. She pretty much says, like, took you long enough, and that's basically it. But I don't know, man. I don't know what I was expecting exactly to see from Carol. Like, I feel like I wanted to be happy for her, and as part of the season, I wanted to see her get her vengeance on Alpha. I wanted to see her get her revenge because I liked Henry a lot. I thought he was he's a good kid and everything, and he didn't deserve that. And for them to just be lopping people's heads off like that, it just shows how absolutely brutal the Whisperers are. But I guess that's continued even this season to see Beta continue to do the same kind of stuff. I mean, somebody of the Whisperers had to be lopping those heads off, and it's so savage and so brutal the way the Whisperers actually are. So, it makes sense that you would be happy for Carol to get that revenge on Alpha and get that win, especially after the face-offs and the missed opportunities and the missed chances in the cave and chasing her down into there and Alpha getting the best of her a number of times. It feels like now Carol masterminded a plan that actually was able to go ahead and work and actually killed Alpha as having Negan do it for her, basically. So it's kind of awesome in a way when you think about it in terms of strategy. But in terms of emotion and kind of the way I felt for Carol when she got that kill, I didn't feel great for her like the way I thought I would. You have Yumiko who punches her in the face. You have Magna who gets hurt. You have Connie who gets hurt as part of it. So it's really weird for me. I was really looking forward to that as like one of the top moments of the season to see Carol get her vengeance on Alpha. I thought we might see something like a throwdown between the two, like we saw Negan and Rick when they had their final fight at the end of the thing. Or like maybe a Shane versus Rick type of fight, or a Beth versus Dawn, like a rivalry type of fight like that. We didn't get that. It had to stay with Negan, so Negan could be sort of redeemed in a way. But so I guess it makes sense. But I found it, I don't know, a little bit tricky for me in terms of how I feel about it with Carol, because I just kind of felt like I wanted her to get that moment, and when she finally did, it was like. I strangely almost felt bad for Alpha because she kind of falls in love with this guy and everything. I know she's an absolute monster and a killer and a psycho and everything, but I don't know. I guess in death, it's hard to hate someone who's dead, right? When someone dies, it's hard to keep hating them. She definitely deserved what she had coming. But I don't know, for Carol's vengeance, it's sort of like, yeah, it's okay. But I guess sort of for me, Negan kind of takes the spotlight in this one. And it almost makes Negan even better. And I don't know if it really adds too much to Carol. I guess I'm kind of happy for her. But, I also kind of dislike her in some ways, too. Because it's like, I don't know. She got so many people hurt and everything in order to get her goal. And it was kind of selfish of her to do that. But okay, whatever. You get it. Next one. So let me know what you guys think about that. Leave your comments below for that. Hingle McGringleberry says, you mean to tell me Alden decides to shoot Walker Mary with the arrow rather than Beta? Sometimes The Walking Dead throws logic out the window. So that's true, right? You guys pointed that out. I didn't even really think about that. But Alden could have shot Beta at that moment with the arrow. However, even if he had done so, I don't think it would kill Beta. He's a monster. He's huge. It might have injured him. He might have had to run away or something. But I still don't think that one arrow would have taken that massive bastard down. I really don't. So you do raise a pretty good point. But maybe it was more important to him at that time to give Mary that mercy, Gamma that mercy kill, instead of having to maybe you take a shot at Beta, maybe you hit him and he's injured or whatever. But I don't think it would have killed him. He has his gear on and everything too. I don't know. He's got the vest, but I don't know if that would have protected the back. I'm just gonna say I'm gonna assume that he would have survived that and it wouldn't have killed him anyway. So, but it's a good point. It's not a bad point that you're making. I guess priorities for him were to give it to her instead of to try to kill him, right? So. Travis Bell says, Trev, remember when Andrea almost killed Darryl? So that's a really funny comment, because no, I didn't. I did not remember that. And that's going back to season 2, right? When she accidentally almost kills him, right? Well, we all want to kill Darryl. That's really funny, man, because if you look at Darryl's transformation, Norman Reedus, right? It's almost like that's a different Darryl, right? Like that's a Darryl, but that's like a season 2 Darryl. So it's sort of like everybody hated him back then, and he was a loudmouth and all this stuff. But he's changed so much entirely to where his name's still Darryl, but his look is different. He's got the longer hair and all the stuff. He's got the cool gear and everything. He's got the well, he had sort of like a bike then too, didn't he? But it's just different, right? It's like, but I don't remember. No, I don't remember that, man. Like that's how long ago that is. That's crazy, but it's kind of funny to think about. Like she almost killed Darryl, right? I almost think of that as like it's a different character. It's Darryl, but it's a different Darryl. You know what I mean? Cacturino says, hey, Trev, I saw that Kim Dickens is, okay, well, he says it this way, spreading a rumor that she might return as Madison season 6. Okay, Cacturino. She's not spreading a rumor. I think someone asked her if it was possible she could return to Fear at some point in time, and she basically said, it's possible, right? That doesn't mean she's spreading a rumor. You know what I mean? Like, she's not campaigning to be back on the show. She has said many times that it's the role she's most proud of. I can remember that quote from some interviews and that, which is really cool. But she didn't say that she was going to return. I know a few people have asked me this one. She just said that, like, it could happen. Like, she's not going to rule it out, whatever. Yeah, it would be really cool. I personally don't think they'll ever do it, but in a way, she's still kind of in the show because at least for her, like you have Alicia still alive, still continuing on. She's still doing her thing, so she gets to kind of continue on through her daughter. And as long as Alicia's still alive, then it represents the future for her. Like that's what you have kids, they grow up, they continue on your legacy. So it is what it is. So she sort of survives on in Alicia as Alicia continues in the series and everything. And it'd be cool. It'd always be cool if they could have at some point had Madison return. They did the Phoenix thing and stuff like that. Phoenix will rise again, the whole thing. But I don't think so. And they kind of confirmed on Talking Dead also that she's dead. So unless they do like a hallucination sequence or a dream sequence or something like that, that'd be awesome if they could do that. I would love to see like a dream sequence or just anything like that for Alicia with Madison in it. That'd be really cool. AOTD says, Trev did a poll on Facebook group for who people will think will kill Beta, and people voted Darryl will be the one to kill him. So for Darryl to be the one to kill Beta, yeah, I think I said the same thing. Like, it's probably going to be Darryl. Is that too predictable? Well, it probably can't be Negan because Negan killed Alpha. So Beta's got to get a little bit of revenge on that. He'll probably beat up Negan. I don't think Beta's going to kill Negan, but he'll probably beat him down a little bit. But ultimately, yeah, I think with Beta being such a big bad, you have to have Darryl be the one to ultimately put him down. So I agree with what everybody was saying there. Kind of has to be that way. From Bear Interrupted, who said, Trev, what are your thoughts on Negan's arc coming full circle? Negan was the alpha in his story with Rick. Rick slashed his throat and opted to save him. Negan was the Rick this time in his story with Alpha and slit her throat, but opted not to save her, but did it, full on, right? Maybe not full circle. I think there's like some videos or pictures of him like sawing it off or something. I don't know. Comicbook.com I think has them. You guys can check them out if you're into that kind of stuff. I didn't want to look at it because I just thought it was true. Not that Alpha doesn't deserve it, but I just, in death, I kind of feel bad for almost anybody, right? Maybe not full circle, but there are some parallels which were the same in the comics but stand out to me now. Well, I think they also said on comicbook.com they felt like that it was better, like this was done better in the show than the comic, which I usually feel is almost always the case. I almost feel like most of the time the TV series outdoes the comic. I mean, you have such a great cast and awesome score and the big budget and all the stuff that they do with Walking Dead. So it usually outshines Charlie Adler, one dude by himself in Kirkman's writing, just doing it in the comic. Like, usually you have a whole team and everything and all this. It should be more epic. And I think it was for the TV series, because you have, like, the Lydia thing, and it's all building up to it. It was epic as hell, man. I also want to say from my review, I think, to a degree, this whole TS19 thing, I'll say it that way, this whole TS19 thing in real life has kind of put me on a little bit of a downer, so maybe I didn't enjoy Sunday night's episode as much as I usually would have. And I think that's legitimately true, is probably the case. But it was an awesome episode, and that was really cool at the end with Alpha and everything. And we've been waiting for that for a while, for someone to take Alpha down. So they opted to stay with Negan, and it was cool. And so it was a really great scene, and I'm happy to see Negan get those. Negan is star of the show right now. No, Darryl is, but Negan's like right up there, right? So a few people did ask, and I'll say this in code so you guys can kind of understand. Do you still think that the TS19? You guys know what I'm talking about, because we're not supposed to say the word online too much. It can screw up the videos and stuff. Could be a bioweapon. So could the TS19 be a bioweapon? So I think I said that in one video that I thought maybe it could be. Unfortunately, the way the stats are going, I don't want to talk about too much, but it's growing way faster than even I thought it would. So I did some conservative predictions on Monday's video with the numbers and actually projected it forward based on the rate of growth, and it's growing even faster than I thought it would. I used some conservative because I didn't want to overestimate it, but it's growing even faster than I thought it would. It's blowing up. And the burnout rate's like 10%. Do you guys know what I mean by burnout rate? Mortality rate. 10%. So that means 10% of the people who get it are burning out. Like total, flat line. So that is freaking brutal. So here's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping that the numbers are either over-reported or they're not true, they're exaggerated or something like that. Because if not, we are dealing with something that is just an absolute monster. Now, whether it's a freak of nature and Mother Nature somehow did this to us, and the God of Death's coming to collect after we've had some good peacetime and stuff like that for most of the world. That's kind of the official explanation, right? Wet markets, and that's where it came from. But you have to ask yourself this way: would they say that anyway, even if it wasn't? Yeah, they would. They just lie. So, the government's going to tell you what's going to keep you, calm, right? They don't want people to calm but fearful, but they don't want people to absolutely go crazy. If people knew it was a bioweapon, they might go absolutely crazy. So they don't want that. They don't want people thinking that. But when you look at the stats and you see that thing, you think to yourself, oh my God, what has happened? How did this thing get out? If this is actually natural, like it just naturally occurred, and it wasn't actually made by some asshole in a doctor in a lab coat, some mad doctor bastard who created this kind of thing. But there are bioweapons. A lot of people don't know this. You can look up Operation Cherry Blossoms at Night, which was a Japanese operation where they were going to use a bioweapon in World War II against the United States. They were going to spray California at nighttime with something. You can look it up on Wikipedia if you want to see it. And that was back in World War II time. So that was the 40s, 1940s. We're in 2020 now, so it's like almost 80 years later now. Now they got nukes, so they never did it. But Operation Cherry Blossoms at Night, and I think it was created in maybe not exactly the same place as where we've seen this thing come from, but it's pretty close. So I don't know what to tell you, man. All I can say is that this thing is the type of thing that could cripple a whole country. It's basically crippling the whole world. It's not going away, so I don't want to fearmonger, but we have to give it the respect it deserves. And do I just think it's something that naturally could just pop up? Not really. I don't think so. I think this is something that you have to create this. This is not something that would just naturally occur. I know, and you guys who disagree, that's cool. We're all entitled to our opinion. It's no problem. I understand if you're going to go with the agreeable told narrative, and that's cool. Again, just understand they're trying to keep things cool. But I just look at it and say to myself, like, man, this is hellfire that's been unleashed on us all if the numbers are right. So I really hope this is just fear propaganda, and they just want people to get scared so they can release some kind of like government, world health, global authority, and and instill something afterwards, like put something over top of every country and kind of control down the healthcare from each country for that. That's what I hope it is some kind of, like that's their goal in the long run, is to have this come out and then you have something built on it afterwards, because it's like a new decade, so you have a new catastrophe like we had in 2001, the World Trade Center, and now at this time we're getting like this crazy thing. So anyway, who really knows when it comes down to it? All you have are theories. You don't have any evidence or proof either way, but they don't either to say, well, it's wet markets. That's a theory too. It's just an official theory. It's a theory that they said, tell them it's that, right? Tell them it's that one. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about that one, but yeah, it's crazy stuff. And then Khalid said, no more trolling TS19 videos. Wow, that's crazy. Well, I don't want to do them, man, because it's not because... Okay, first of all, we're not allowed to even monetize these types of videos anyway, or get ads or anything like that. So I was only doing them because I felt like it was a public service to people. We had some fun ones where we joke and stuff like that. But now that it's derivative, now that its rate of change is going at the rate it's going now, I certainly won't be joking about it anymore, because it's just getting out of control. And especially the burnout rate being 10%. It's like, we've never seen something like this before. This is something crazy. Again, it's as if some bioweapon got out that would cripple a country, and it's just spread all over the world, and it's crippling the world. The world economy is just in the tank. It's really crazy. So that's why I don't really want to talk about it too much, is because it's like, what do you want to say? What can we say positive about it? Eventually we'll get a vaccine. They're working on it hard now. They're going to get one, so that's good eventually. It's going to come eventually, hopefully. There isn't too much damage done before then. Maybe it'll be a year. Maybe it'll be, who knows, they can overdrive it. Put it on overdrive, do it in 6 months, hopefully. But, yeah, it's not really like I want to talk about this stuff, Khalid. I did those videos because I thought it would be good to kind of get my thoughts out there on it for you guys if you're wondering what I think about it. And that's basically where I'm at right now is that. And, again, I don't want to talk about too much because it is something, like, it's a huge downer when you look at the real stats. If the reported stats by each country are correct, when you look at those, when you look at the rate of change, you're just like, OMG, right? So let's move on from that, because we can't get too into it. We can't control that. So let's get back to things in our life that we can control and try to have some fun too, right? JMC Clinton 8 says, Michonne betrayed, damn it. So yeah, it looks like it. Will Virgil be the one to betray her? Will she just be captured by this other group that he's kind of going against here? I tend to think like maybe Virgil's some kind of, Dr. Jekyll or something. What if he like poisons her or something, and then she passes out and she starts having like these visions of Andrea or whatever and stuff like this? That might make sense for what we're seeing in that episode. Or it could be someone else. Some people also think she'll find Rick's stuff, like Rick's badge or something like that, and then she'll be like, oh my god, and then that will kind of propel her to go off and try to find Rick, which would be really cool if we see something like that. I'd rather have it be that than her dying or something like that, or something really bad. So, okay, last one from Diana Rainey. It's actually a fun one. Well, okay, it's not a fun one, but Trev, have you heard of any looting, like any gas stations closing? Well, up in Canada, we're not that badass here. We don't really have problems like that here for the most part. But yes, I've heard some subscribers saying that they've gone outside to see cars on fire and stuff like this, and just create, the stuff you'd see in like a zombie movie, or the stuff you'd see in an apocalypse type movie. It's really crazy in some places. But any gas stations closing or things like that, no, man. All I've been dealing with personally myself is just noticing people really on edge. When I'm trying to help them and stuff, they're just not, I'm able to help them, and I'm able to do, what I usually do with them. But anytime I'm dealing with somebody, like, I just noticed that they're short. They don't have that same fuse. And this is worldwide right now and everything, because there's a lot of things that are going to come about from this. Again, this is why I don't like to talk about too much, right? Because you start thinking about it, it's like, oh man, you can get really into the doom and gloom. But it'll be okay. There'll be a vaccine eventually. Things will be all right. I'm sure there's some kind of longer term plan here for stuff that's gonna change things. And afterwards, next time, people will be more prepared for this type of thing. They'll have infrastructure in place overhead over every different country, probably like a global health military type of infrastructure, I bet you. So, which might have to be what this is all about anyway. So we'll see how it all ends and kind of what the program is or what the agenda is, or just maybe, if that's not true, what naturally just happens as a result of this comeuppance, right? So, but yeah, man, there are some crazy stuff going on out there, but I haven't seen anything too bad where I live. It's just mainly been people being short and being scared to be, even I was like today I went to check out. I was getting some stuff from local drugstore, and the person beside me in the self-checkout started coughing, and I was like, throw my shit, I'm out of here. See ya. You know what I mean? I've never checked out so fast in my life. I was like a seasoned veteran checkout girl, with a bag lady with nails that's been freaking, slinging products for the last 40 years. Like, boom, 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 boom. Okay, I'm out. See you, bye. Here's the money. See you, bye. No receipt. I'm leaving. Because it's like, but that's what it is, right? You see people coughing, and you're like, oh shit, you know what I mean? And then you're leaving, right? That's what I did. Hey, for you guys too, I recommend the same thing. If this thing is as bad as it looks like it is from the numbers, and you see someone around you coughing, you know what I mean? Just freaking put it up and leave. Drop whatever you're doing, like maybe get your stuff, but or maybe don't. Maybe just leave it and leave, because this is bad. It's really, really bad. So 10%, like that's not a low percentage. That's an extremely high percentage. That's not like a normal flu or something. No way, man. 10%, man, is really high. That'll be it for today's video, guys. Let me know what you think. Thumb up the video below. Stay safe out there, guys. You see someone coughing, leave. And that's really all I got for now. Hopefully it'll work itself out soon. I'm sure it will. It's Trev, and I'm saying peace. Later, guys. See you soon. Have a good weekend, guys. I'll see you soon.